there. So we have started to record. Can everybody hear me okay? Just kind of either chat me or raise your hand or say something.
Sounds good.
Okay, good. Excuse me. So today I'm going to talk a bit about search engine optimization and basically what it is and a little bit about how it works. I can't say that I'm a absolute authority on it, but I have found some things on search engine optimization that I think are very, very good. Here's our agenda for today. I want to pay attention to the to buy or not to buy. I'm talking mostly about Google Ads and other types of things that can help you drive people to your website. Let's go over the cause and mission. Increase awareness. Excuse me. Of Archibus throughout the world to collaborate our efforts to increase traffic to the individual websites for the purpose of increasing sales. Okay, so the top 5 things of search engine optimization. Words matter. The content on your website matters. It's searchable. The algorithms from both Bing and Google and other websites actually scan all web pages to find content, and what words you have in there are searchable. Titles, which are tags inside of a website, a web page, not just a site, a web page, actually matter. And I actually change the title on every single one of my web pages so that I can have an understanding of who's finding what page. Links matter. So those are links that go to your website. So if you have something like a LinkedIn that links to your website, that's important. I link to a couple other business partners' websites. That's going to give them better rankings. And, if you can get Glassdoor or any other types of those websites to have a link to your website, that actually increases your ranking. Words in your link matter. So, Archibus and socialmedia.html, I actually, spend a significant amount of real estate now making sure that the name of the web page has a lot of and the words that are keywords that are searchable. And then reputation is important. And what I mean by that is that Google and Bing are both looking at how often you update your website, and daily is best, hourly is really good, weekly is okay, monthly not as much, quarterly. And I think that's probably one of the challenges for those of us who are in the Archibus world. Do we have time to update our web page, our website on a daily basis? But it does matter when it comes to search engine optimization. Okay, so words matter. So here's an A tag out of one of my websites, and I just kind of highlighted a couple of words that were important, and these will be searched. I can show you examples of that. So, for example, here's like real estate, strategic space planning, high churn rates, project smooth space, renovations. All the other words also matter. Let me show you what I mean by that. So let's go over here and do a search for strategic space planning. So what we get back? Well, look at there. Archibus is the first one on the list, at least for me. And those websites come up. Mass Systems out of the UK, and then a university. Okay. So when you use these words, and notice that those words are highlighted within the content of the web page, strategic space planning. So you want to make sure that you write content inside your website that actually drives individuals to your website. And again, you don't have to pay for this. This is all free. So to pay or not to pay, I recommend you just start writing really, really good content that answers the proper questions. Questions or thoughts on words in your web page? Okay. The next one is titles matter. So like, Archibus Strategic Planning -RSC. So let me do a search on that one. So I'm going to go so let's go there. And notice that my website comes up because that's the title. I'll show you. That's the title right here, this tag, title with an end title. And when you search for those specific words, that is number one on the search list. Notice that I've got a number 2. Part of it's because I put RSC. If I didn't put RSC on there, I would get different search results. Archibus comes up. So Archibus is doing a good job at making sure that their content is being searchable. There's Horizons, there's Online FM. So, very good. And this is all free. You don't have to pay for AdWords. You just basically make sure that it's in the right place. So again, the title tag, what you put in here, how many words you use, it does make a difference. Any questions? Okay. Links. So on my website, when I come over here to I have certain business partners that are linked with. I should add others, but I link to ImagineIt, Robotech, Online FM, and Infamous. These are the individuals that I meet with on a regular basis, collaborate with in the Archibus industry, and so I have a link here. That actually increases your search engine optimization for these sites because I have linked to them. They consider these a more reliable website, and so the search engine optimization will increase its ranking on those sites. So how can you get this out here? Well, have hyperlinks on your LinkedIn coming back to your website. Have on your Facebook, on your Twitter, on your Instagram, Snapchat. Links in Glassdoor, links from other Archibus vendors back to your site. Write articles that link you back. Almost anywhere that you have a journal, if you can get articles written that link back to your website, it makes you a more reliable website and gives you some stronger search engine optimization. Questions on linking? Okay. So words in your links. So the actual name of the web page, I'm starting to spend an awful lot of energy, and I'm going to show you that. So for example, I'm going to, if I go to my website here, and we come down to my list of web pages, you'll start to see that, this one is Archibus in the Hong Kong Academy of Performing Art.html. I'm using all those words in here so that I can search for, those could be searched by individuals. So for example, let's say that let's go do a search. Let's go Archibus in Lincoln Public Schools. So if I come over here and go hopefully I'll get the Archibus website. I do. Archibus probably comes up first because it's a more trusted site than mine. But here's mine. Because I, in fact, have an article on Archibus and Lincoln Public Schools. It's right here, website. So you can see that words within your actual link actually will bring you back to a higher ranking on search engine. So don't be afraid to do this. There's take a lot of real estate. So here's all my educational ones and financial ones, but then I come down here and I'll have furniture and equipment management, environmental risk. I have a whole host of web pages where I actually use quite a bit of real estate when it comes to naming these sites. So, for example, here's a video. How do you measure the access? How do you measure success? Does RC have a competitive advantage? Define the implementation process. Case study, Stanford Healthcare. And so these things, so we can go search for that one. Let's go take a look for that one. So let's go. Let's see if I can get it from there. Let me add Zig Wu on there because he's the one that I did the case study with. And so this is a Facebook post that I did on that. So that comes up. And which is good. Okay. So again, you begin to see that you can have these types of words in the name of the HTML file itself, which will actually give you some better choices. So for example, I think this one's it comes right back here to the home page because Zig was part of that. All right. Questions on the words in your link? Okay, reputation. So this is kind of the hardest one to do. Writing new web content. And we talked about that earlier in an earlier lesson. I attempt to get a new page up every day. Now, over the last month, I failed dramatically at that because of the holidays and getting into the new year. But I'm about ready to gear up to write a brand new web page every day. And it's very, very simple and straightforward. I'll do things like do videos of my staff or myself answering certain questions and then crop those and get them up. I'll take articles about Archibus that I've written or emails that I've sent this to clients that have answered a question. I'll take RFP response questions and create a web page. I will go and create case studies and things like that. And once I got the ball rolling, I can usually develop a web page in less than 40 minutes and get it up and actually include that on all of my social media. And so once you get on the ball, you just let a half hour, 45 minutes aside every day to do that, and it just allows me to get my more content out there and higher search results. I would like to have a discussion on this. Is how often do each of you update your web page?
Bob, I'll go, I guess.
Is this?
Yep, it's David.
Hi, David.
So not up until recently, it has not been, maybe probably less. I mean, I'd say quarterly, which is not good. The reason for that is the nature of the website has sort of presented some challenges, which I've recently worked around by creating a new blog. So the anticipation going forward in this year is that there will be weekly new content going to blog and perhaps other pages as well. It sounds like you create new pages on the website. Is that the case, or are you just adding content to existing blogs on the website?
I do both. So I do a blog. There was a time when I was doing a blog twice a week. Fallen off in the last 6 months on that, just simply because I don't have a ghostwriter. I'm not a very good writer, and my ghostwriter went away, and so I've just now got a new one. I'm getting back into that. What's interesting about the blog is that I used to use the Google Blogger. The challenge with that is that it doesn't push back to my website, so I can't metric it. I mean, I can metric it through Google, but it doesn't. You know, I don't want 2 or 3. I could lose contacts by just having it. So I'm writing new web pages, and I just transferred over to WordPress in the hopes that I can actually include my blog on my website, because I want to drive everything to rsc2lc.com, because I use Mautic to measure my hits and who's hitting them and why. So yes, I do create, the majority of my work is creating it for rsc2lc.com.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Okay. Anyone else? How often do you guys update your web page? Kathy, Golson, CJ?
Well, I mean, we usually put up something at least once a month, but I'd like to be doing something more like once a week. But a lot of times what happens is I create things and I send it off to get it approved, and it just sometimes falls through the cracks. Not always the priority, you know. Needs to be though.
Yeah. Well, right, and I think that you know, this is the age-old question. It's like, do we want to be ranked on the search or not? And that's hard to answer, right? It's really tough to answer, because if we're all busy, which I think we are, we're all like, well, why do I need to create more work? But the interesting thing is, you need to create more work when you're not busy, otherwise.
Exactly. Yeah.
Exactly.
And this stuff doesn't happen overnight either. I mean, it can take 6 months before you start seeing yourself move up, you know, the rankings.
Rankings. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, we've been doing a video series the last couple months, and we put one up at least once a month.
That's good. That's great. You finding success with that?
Yeah, actually, yeah.
That's great.
Yeah, and they're fun to make. I love creating all this stuff. It's great.
It's kind of fun, huh? Yeah, absolutely.
It is. Yeah, it is.
Kelly, Golson, either one of you two?
Hey, Bob, one thing to add on this, aside from the metrics for Google rankings, is when people are sent to the website again, you know, or when we are sending people to the website, it's good to have new content, because that shows that when they get there, they see that this company is actively doing things. And if they go to a blog and the last entry was 2014, that sort of sends a message to me, at least when I'm online, that these people aren't, at least, you know, as engaged with what they're doing as they might say they are.
No, absolutely. In fact, I'm going to give you an example of, let's see if I can get the blog for, because at one point in time, their blog site Manhattan CenterStone's blog site was being kept up really, really well. I mean, they were, yeah, see, now it's not even found. And if you
Yeah.
notice that their last post before I hit this was 2015, but prior to that, they were posting something every day. And for something happened, I think this is when they were bought by Trimble, or maybe they let their social media person go. But interesting side notes. But
Yeah, that's precisely what I mean. Yep.
yeah. So yeah, very, very interesting. Okay. Well, I don't know if Golson, I don't know if you know, but you were on mute, so I didn't know if you were talking. But anyways, so search engine optimization. I'd like to kind of have a pulse. Did everybody know all of this? Is this new to you, or did I just kind of reiterate what you guys already knew?
Well, I would say I knew most of it at some level. The interesting piece is the titles that you're changing. You're spending a lot more time investing into, changing the HTML titles to correspond to keyword searches and stuff like that, which is something that we haven't done, but it looks like it's certainly a good idea. And of course, linking to other partner sites is also something that is is good as well. And I didn't know about the, what did you say, Glassdoor piece?
Yeah, well, any of those ranking type web pages that will actually look at you and, basically what they're trying to do is if you can get your website on 500 other websites, they consider your reputation a lot better.
Right.
How do we do that? That's very difficult to do. And the only way you can do that is if you start to write articles in journals. You start to get other business partners to put your website on their website, but that benefits not you, but the person you're linking to. But yes, and yeah, it's very, very, very good. So again, you don't have to buy words. You can. So for example, if we come up here and we search for let's do now notice that there's somebody who bought those words, strategic planning, and that's an ad. So they're paying for it. Archibus is not. Second one, usually okay. Very, very good. So it's kind of your choices on whether you want to pay for those words, which could be a good. We've done that. RSC has done that in the past. We haven't done it in about a year. We're trying to do it more through this way. And then I guess the final note I want to say on that, and I just keep giving a plug on this, is that get something like HubSpot or Mautic to measure your website. And I'm going to show you that over the last little while since I have been on vacation. Let me update this. Oh, January's come back up again. Very good. But you can see that I fell, right? Because I was not active, right? I wasn't active on social media. I wasn't putting articles up on LinkedIn, Facebook, all that kind of good stuff. But in the last, looks like since January, and even in December, my website has come back up again. In fact, actually, it's hit its highest peak on Wednesday. And a lot of this could be that I'm doing RFP responses, so I've got people looking at my website, things like that. Yeah, so I look for this. I'm looking for those type of things. And then the other thing you should know is that these type of things is like I can come in and find out, who's doing what, who's looking at what, right? So, for example, if I was to come down here, let's see, these PGD ones are probably not going to be much. Let's go down to okay, let's see what Shannon 3 days ago, Shannon looked at my website, and look at this. Shannon looked at all of these websites, and these are my titles. Remember, I was giving you the tag, the title tag.
Yep.
Each one of these are the titles on my site. So on January 9th, Shannon came in and looked at lease administration, facilities, and real estate management applications on my website. She also downloaded my standard schedule of compensation on October, right? So very, very good, right? This is good information. All right. So, guys, if you don't have any question, guys and gals, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to go ahead and end this session. I really appreciate the opportunity to do this. Is there any topic you'd like to hear from next?
Can't think of it right now, but if I do, I'll send you an email. I did want to say we did use AdWords over the course of the last year and a half.
Oh, good.
And as you said, it's nothing. You have to be careful. I will say this, that you can easily get, on some particular keywords, your ads to show first page. The trick is that with many of the words that Archibus deals with, real estate, asset management, it's difficult sometimes to develop ads that don't then touch that won't trigger people who are actually interested in other things but still contain the same keywords. So because asset management is a very general term that can mean personal assets, wealth assets. So it's a very it's much more nuanced effort within AdWords. We're not using it right now. I've been doing more through LinkedIn, but we're going to try to do more just organically, like what you're doing, Bob.
Great. Well, thanks. That's good. I'm going to have one of my staffers, Todd Forsyth, did marketing for eBay for a few years, and he did the AdWords, and I'm going to have him in as one of our guest speakers here on one of these sessions, and have him talk about, comparison. They do A/B comparisons and all that kind of good stuff, but we'll get into that at that point in time. But
okay.
Thank you, everyone. I appreciate it.
Yep.
All right,
Thanks, Bob.
Thanks, Bob.
You bet. Take care. Bye-bye.
All right. Bye-bye.